Hey, Brian from I See Dead People. I figured I had another story to share. Um, when I was a young boy, my uncle had a fishing boat, and we'd go out on weekends. Not all the time, but pretty often. And one of his first boats that he had was like on a smaller side. And I remember it was me and my one cousin. We went out, and he put our, I think it was off the like Sandy Hook, New Jersey coast side. I remember him zipping up our life preservers and like, loving and affectionately kind of took us and threw us out of the boat into the water. And I remember the water not being deep. You could like, even as murky as the New Jersey waters get sometimes, I could kind of see the bottom, but I had a mask on. And I remember like looking down into the water and kind of like seeing that maybe the bottom was like maybe 6 foot. Wasn't that deep at all. I was kind of surprised because, I must have been 10, 11 years old. My perception is as soon as you go out in the ocean, like there's a bottomless black pit of water beneath you. Obviously not the case. So we were kind of like in a bay side, close to the shore, but not close. I remember drifting off into the seaweed. Seaweed touched my legs, kind of freaked me out, but I knew it was seaweed because it came close to the top and I could see it, like moving around, and there was like just a vast amount of it. So I wasn't that scared, but then this experience happened, and it was so bone chilling. I can't even begin to tell you. I felt something grab me. My first instinct was shark. I looked down, and to my surprise, it was like a shape of a man in the water, and he grabbed me, grabbed my ankle. I like was so freaked out by it because the water wasn't that deep, so he was kind of close to the top of the water, but he didn't break the top of the water. And I remember calling out to my uncle. By this time, my cousin had already gotten into the boat, and I was just freaking out. Swam towards the boat as fast as I can. Obviously, whatever grabbed onto me and let go. So I was trying to tell my uncle this. I was like, hey, there was a man in the water and he grabbed me. And my uncle kind of like looked at me like puzzled, like, what do you mean? He's like looking out in the water, looking out in the water. And I pointed, and I could still see him looking up through the water. And my uncle just kind of looked at me, looked at the water. To this day, I don't know if he saw it. And he's like, where? Point, where do you see the guy? Where do you see the guy? And he grabbed the pole, and he was trying to fish in that area, trying to like see if, maybe there's a guy in the water, and he was trying to fish around. He couldn't find anything. He asked me, he's like, point with the pole exactly where he is, because we were kind of like almost right on top of this guy at this point, because we were kind of like drifting towards that area. And I put the pole out into the water, and it physically got pulled out of my hand. My uncle saw this, and he jumped back, and he was just like looking in the water, and he looked at me, and he just like looked back in the water all bright-eyed, like what just happened, because it was so plain to see. My cousin started freaking out a little bit, and she saw the pole leave my hand as fast as I had grabbed on to it, the point, and you could see it fade off into the water. And it wasn't like it was dropping down. It was kind of like a silverish pole, and it had like a plastic, kind of transparent, clear plastic end to it, and you could see the end of it just get pulled in and disappeared. I remember it like it was yesterday, but that was just another, I guess you would consider like a kind of like a poltergeist type experience, but out in the water. I just never heard of such a thing, seen such a thing. To this day, I haven't even heard a story similar to that. I remember on the boat going back, none of us talked about it, nor did we talk about it after that day. And my uncle never visited that area with the boat. It was just like one of those just weird unspoken experiences. But yeah, anyway, so that was just another story I figured I'd share with you. That I've been taking a lot of notes lately, journaling a lot of things, just so I can keep track, so I can present them in the best storytelling ability here on YouTube and sharing it with everybody. Anyhow, feel free to leave comments. Thanks for watching, subscribing. That helps me just bring more of my experiences to light. And be safe out there.